uganda.com. Look for Listen Live, and you'll be able to catch your favorite shows, especially Spectrum. Today, we'll be asking the question, what is the agenda of the People Power Political Pressure Group ahead of the 2021 general elections? The People Power Political Pressure Group has been considered by some sections of Ugandans as the new viable political vehicle that could bring about the political change that the opposition in Uganda has promised for a very long time. It is said to enjoy a considerable following, especially by young people who, unfortunately, don't usually vote. Some people have also questioned its ideology and agenda, claiming that it has no concrete plan to address the challenges that Uganda faces today, and that its leadership lacks the credentials and experience to govern. When the People Power Political Pressure Group wave began taking shape, analysts warned that it would be a threat to not only the ruling party, but also to the traditional opposition in Uganda. Now, this political pressure group is being accused of attacking other opposition leaders in an attempt to allegedly impose itself as the most powerful. FDC party members have accused, the FDC party members have accused it of allegedly organizing and attacking its supporters in Bujiri and Arua municipality by-elections, and also attacking Dr. Kizza Besigye recently. The attack on Dr. Kizza Besigye has left many wondering if the agenda of this group is not to partly disorganize the opposition during a period when there are efforts to form a united front against the NRM, whose candidate is likely to be the incumbent President Museveni. Some opposition leaders, including Dr. Kizza Besigye, have suggested that some of the leaders of this group, especially Dr. Wanika, who has contested 3 times for the presidency, could indirectly be working for the NRM government. Dr. Wanika has been widely quoted in the media, insisting that Dr. Kizza Besigye should vacate the political scene and give way to new faces. Tonight on Spectrum, we focus on the People Power Political Pressure Group to understand its agenda, its relationship with other political groups, and how it is preparing for the 2021 general elections. And in studio is the de facto leader of the People Power Pressure Group, Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, also known as BOBI. Welcome to Spectrum.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in Kampala and beyond, in Uganda and beyond. I'm glad to be with you tonight on Spectrum.
All right, and we're very glad to have you here. Let's begin from, keep referring to People Power as a political pressure group, but people have called it by all kinds of names. If you could start by telling us what exactly is People Power?
Well, I'm glad you said many people are defining people power in their own ways. I don't blame anybody for as long as it makes sense, practical sense to you. People power is you, people power is me. People power are all those Ugandans that want better. It's an idea that is born out of Article number 1 of our Constitution, that power actually belongs to the people. My role and my vision as a leader is to translate that to the common Ugandan, for them to know that that power is actually the power to decide, to determine what kind of life they want to live, to connect them to the way they are being governed, for them to know that everything that they face, good and bad, is a result of how they are being governed, and to remind them that they have the power to decide on how they are being governed. And because they are misusing that power, not using it, or not knowing about it, that they are the way they are. And they call for them to know that now that they have that power, they have to exercise it massively to see that they transform the circumstances around them. That is my brief understanding of people power.
All right, you, BOBI, Honorable Chagulanyi, why do you take it upon yourself, the burden, to explain to people the power that they have?
I am very sure that you too, if you saw it the way I saw it, if you envisioned it the way I envision it, you would be so excited, and you will want everybody and anybody that you can reach to see the way you see it. I see possibilities. First of all, I see oppression everywhere. initially oppression was distant from me. Now I can feel it, and it's just like any other Ugandan. And I also see the ability to change it, and that's why I took it upon myself, and also drawing from inspiration of other people that came in before me to push harder, knowing that if I use what I'm blessed with, and that's the ability to communicate massively through the music that I was singing, yeah, I realized that I could use that music to not only earn money, but to actually massively sensitize the nation. And a nation that is massively sensitized is capable of achieving just so much.
All right. You just mentioned you have the ability to reach out to many people, and I know many will try to reach us today. So, dear listener, please go to our social media pages, Radio 1 FM 90, that's both for Facebook and for Twitter, and leave your question or your comment over there, and we will put your question to Honorable Jabulani. You can also use our WhatsApp line, the number is 0703 090 090. So Facebook and Twitter, Radio 1 FM 90, then WhatsApp 0703 090 090. All right, Honorable Jabulani, when the People Power Pressure Group had really started gaining traction, every time you were asked the question on whether this was a plan for you to actually contest in 2021, your answers were not very clear, but it wasn't a definite yes. You recently were quoted as saying 2021,
Yeah.
you put your hat in the race.
Yeah.
Is this accurate?
Yeah, take it a little bit further back. Take it 5 years ago. I was an artist with my dreadlocks, singing revolutionary songs, singing about what's going on in the country. And that was all that I envisioned, okay? I felt I was accomplishing my calling, I was playing my part, until it was, I realized it's not enough. I had to go further, by supporting the people that were actively in the struggle. And indeed, I got to that level. Remember, initially, I had not wanted to get involved in politics whatsoever. But after what happened in 2016, I was further reminded that we are the ones we've been waiting for. So I said, okay, I'm not only going to sing about these things, I'm actually going to take it a notch higher and get actively involved, and also call upon other people practically. I wanted to demonstrate and not just speak. So it developed. I got into leadership, I got into politics as a frustrated young man who waited for his savior, and there was no other savior. And just like other young people all over Uganda, I realized that we are our own savior. So I took it a notch higher. Initially, I just wanted to be a member of parliament, okay? Articulate issues and, like that. But like Mandela said, that in the struggle for freedom, it is not our plans that, determine events, but also the actions of the oppressor, Before we know, things kept, taking turns and twists. Now where we are, we realize that we have concluded that Uganda's problem is President Museveni's misgovernance. And we've concluded that President Museveni has to be, upstaged. Unfortunately, we don't believe in violence, so we believe in democracy. And we know that whoever has to upseat Museveni has to be one of us, the change-seeking forces. And that's why I said recently that we are seriously considering, me and my team, taking him on. And I also repeat it now, we are still considering it very seriously.
All right, dear listener, we are trying to reach somebody from the NRM party to give a few, to respond to a few things that Honorable Jabulani is raising online. So my producer is still trying to get that person on the phone line. When we do, we will send that person through. It most likely is going to be the Honorable Mike Sebalu. Well, are you the leader? Are you now the leader of People Power?
Me,
yes.
You, everybody is the leader of People Power. I don't believe in the usual kind of politics of people looking up to just one leader. Right, just like Tupac Shakur said.
Okay, let's not deceive ourselves.
Yes.
Honorable Jabulani,
yes.
There's no one in the People Power Pressure Group that is as popular as you. There's no one. who commands crowds as much as you do. There is nobody calling shots as, you know, highly as you are.
Sure.
So whether you call yourself or you don't, you actually are the de facto leader of people power.
Yeah, not just a de facto leader. I am the leader of the team that initiated the people power idea. But we believe that it's not about us as leaders. And that's why our gospel says, you are the leader yourself wherever you are. There's some places I will never reach. There's some people that I only communicate to on radio. And I always want them to know by the end of the show that whatever I've been saying, it should reflect in them. They are the leader. That's why we say, I'm not telling you these things because I'm going to do them for you. I'm telling you this because I'm going to do it in my own capacity. But you also do it in your capacity. That's why I want every listener to know that they are the leader. It's upon them.
All right. And right now, what do you expect other people to do?
What do you mean?
You're calling upon them to do what they, you know, what they see right, what they can do as, you know, where they are at. What exactly are you calling them?
This is exactly what I'm telling them to do. First of all, to realize that they are slaves in their own country. And if they have any friends that don't realize it yet, let them awaken them so that we are all awakened. First of all, we have to liberate our minds. I always want to quote these great people that did these things hundreds of, tens or hundreds of years before us. Like Marcus Garvey one time said, liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. Our mission is to liberate the minds of Ugandans, for them to know that they are actually being oppressed, to know that they are actually supposed to be their bosses. Now from that, we will seek to answer your question, how do we do that? And then because we don't believe in violence, we believe in democracy. Which democracy? You rightly said that for a long time, young people have not been voting because they didn't know. And remember, having accomplished step one of liberating their minds, we are now calling upon them to go and register massively, get their national IDs, and have their votability. If we are many in millions, and we know what we can do peacefully and in a civilized way to liberate ourselves, then step three will be just going to vote on that day, and that will be game over.
All right, let's check if we have Honorable Sevalu online. Yes, Honorable Sevalu. Good evening. I hope you've been listening to us from the time we began. All right, go right ahead.
That I used in my political work at the time. So I have...
What song are you referring to?
Pardon?
What song are you referring to?
Nayenze Wendi.
Ah, okay.
That's Uganda. That was actually, there was a time I was at a function and he played it for me at Hotel International on my request, and it made my day. So definitely I do appreciate him, and I do congratulate him upon assuming the role of Member of Parliament, having joined the politics, and be able to serve his people. I want to disagree with a few of his analysis. Note that I don't appreciate them, but I feel that we need to put certain things in perspective. Like when you talk about Ugandans being slaves in their country, really I'm at a loss appreciating and understanding what that may mean in the context, knowing exactly what a slavery is all about. Then that is something that may be misleading. There could be challenges here and there, like there are challenges everywhere, but to equate the Ugandan population to be living in a state of slavery is maybe an overstatement. Secondly, when you talk about the oppressor, well, these terminologies can be used for purposes of delivering a message that you may want people to hear or to listen to. but in context of the people of Uganda, whom I believe have a great deal of sense of judgment, I believe that many of them may not agree with that position.
All right.
And it is that approach that has always been applied during elections or pre-election time, where people come up with all sorts of perceptions created with a view of painting the NRM government in the negativity. But the situation has always been different on the ground, because people actually know exactly what they go through. They know where they are coming from, they know where they are, and they know where their future is.
All right.
So
Honorable,
we can engage.
Honorable Sebalu, taking from the political career of Honorable Kyagulanyi, Arua is something that is fresh on people's minds, and quite frankly, if you're to look at things from Honorable Kyagulanyi's point of view, after what he went through in Arua, isn't he justified in using the word oppressor and oppressed?
You see, even the Arua experience needs to be put in perspective. There is a part of Arua that we are fond of projecting, but there is another part of Arua that we are silent about. For instance, when you smash a presidential convoy, I mean, by any logic, what act is that supposed to mean?
Okay.
So the Arua was a double-faced kind of scenario, which needs to be appreciated in a manner that is leveled.
Okay.
Let's look at what happened before. Maybe what happened after may have been an overreaction, but you can't look at what happened without also analyzing what happened before.
All right.
And that could be an incident.
All right, Honorable.
It cannot be in generic.
All right, Honorable Sebalu, let's hear from Honorable Kyagulanyi. Honorable Kyagulanyi, Honorable Sebalu thinks when you use the term oppressed and oppressor, Ugandans can see through that because they know what they've been through, and from his perspective, Ugandans know they're in a better place than they used to be.
Well, I appreciate, first of all, Honorable Sebalu for joining us in this conversation. I appreciate him for being a fan of my music. Many of those people knew me because of my music. And maybe if I was not a musician, they wouldn't know that there exist people like us. But we are actually many, in millions. Some of us, they get to know us through sports, or through entertainment, or through special talent. But we are always there, and we are many. I also appreciate that he realizes that the government is serving under has loads and loads of challenges, and also he realizes that Arua was an overreaction to whatever it was. First and foremost, I want Honorable Sebalu to be honest, because to be leaders, we ought to be honest. I mean, it is still disturbing many Ugandans how 36 people can hold a stone and throw it to a presidential motorcade, which is bulletproof. But again, the glass is smashed by a stone. But anyway, because that case is in court, that's for another day. Today, where I come from, maybe where he comes from is fine. But where I come from, I live among people that have spent most of their parents' money going to school, but they cannot find a job. I don't know what it turns that like. We live among people who fall sick but cannot access proper Medicare. In a country that is so rich, and most importantly, in a country that one cannot even speak out to express themselves. The slaves are not anybody else. I want to give myself as an example, not anybody else, just me. I'm a professional musician, but I cannot practice my profession simply because my songs are not appreciated by the powers that be.
Your songs are critical of the powers that be.
Yeah, they don't quote any law. I repeat, they don't quote any law. They just act with impunity on me. I don't know if there's another word other than oppression to that. Today, as we speak, with all those trumped up charges in Arua, besides confiscating both my cars, without quoting any law, without explaining whatsoever, I am banned from even, attending a public gathering. Just recently, when my sister was getting married in the village, and I was supposed to come and give her away, I found police deployed around my father's house because they deemed me a national threat. I don't know what to call that if I can't call it oppression. But anyway,
Honorable Chagulanyi, before you continue, let's ask Honorable Sevalu. Honorable Sevalu, is Honorable Chagulanyi a national threat?
He's a national leader. Whether he's a national threat or he's not, I think that is not very important. One thing I want to say, he's a national leader, he's a member of parliament, he has a following, so he's a national leader.
So are other national leaders being stopped from attending functions like Honorable Chagulanyi is experiencing?
You see, some of these things, I may not be in position because it may be his word against mine.
Okay.
I've not been to those functions where he's been, but going by media reports I get, I read of him in many places. I see on TV when he's in a number of places. So to go to the specifics that he's not allowed to go here or there, I think I'm not in position. But
okay, very quickly, let's refer to one that you know and have even commented on, the fact that he was stopped from practicing what he refers to as his trade, music.
The issue of the music is something that I wouldn't want to go into right now, because they are, according to the press reports, we understand there are certain processes that they are supposed to go through before they host musical concerts or musical gatherings. And according to reports we get from police, there are often times when such are hosted without those requirements. So I'm not very competent, because there is one side which I hear from the police,
okay,
concerning the requirements not being conformed to, and there is another side from himself where he's indicating that he's not being given a chance.
All right,
I'm not very competent in those areas.
Let's put
because
that.
there are other requirements that I'm not privy to.
All right,
I'm not in position to argue about.
Let's put that to Honorable Chagulanyi. Honorable Chagulanyi, because of your huge following and the political clout that you have, are you deliberately floating the rules, not getting the required permission, knowing that your crowds are going to, push against the police and whoever else is stopping your concerts?
Well, first of all, it should be remembered that I used to perform and be hired to perform on government, police, and all such events with great love and friendship until I started speaking about things that are critical to this government. And indeed, you will remember that it started last year. No, it started in 2017 when police started banning my concerts because they thought that I was mixing Honorable Chagulanyi with BOBI wine, although they've never clearly come out to explain to the world what that actually means. It will be remembered that last year when I tried to host my concert in Nambole Stadium, police came out to stop it and actually told lies and said that the venue had been hired for a wedding, which wedding was never there. It was blocked again using the management of FUFA, claiming there was going to be a match which much was never there. And indeed, it has been so ashamed to see that the stadium has been continued to be used by different personalities without blockages.
Okay.
Now, after all that, we held our concert at One Love Beach in Busabala, and that was the last concert that we held, because the same requirements that had been put to us are the same requirements are put to other people. We have fulfilled every requirement, but we've not been allowed or even let to access the venues of these events. And indeed, many other shows have been blocked simply because I am one of the artists that are performing.
All right. We need to go for a break. Honorable Sebalu, thank you very much for stepping out of your Rotary fellowship in order to speak to us. Yeah, very quickly, because we need to take a break. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, we'll get him to respond to that after the break, as we also switch to what the plans of People Power are in coming to 2021. Honorable Sebalu, thank you for joining us on the line. Let's take a break. We'll continue the discussion after the break.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Last moment.
Housing Finance Bank has come closer to you today. Worry no more. The retail
I know you know I wouldn't.
You are such a
bank all the time. Look out for the Housing Finance
Those
Bank.
people are extremely
wherever you are, you just because it's a
Such
problem.
as cash
We
withdrawal,
told
cash
them we are
deposit,
that
funds
generation.
transfer, balance inquiry, account opening, and many more. Housing
So,
Finance Bank. We make
of
it
late,
easy.
you've been
Housing
calling
Finance Bank is
on
regulated
people
by Bank of Uganda.
All the football entertainment is
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes. Why don't you ask me that question on air? Yes, and I'll even tell you how it works.
Show you 1 hour.
So call up your friends, tune in, grab your Pepsi, and win like Ebola. Simply open a code bottle of Pepsi, check another crowd, and send the unique code to 728 to stand a chance to win up to 15 million shillings in a weekly draw and other prizes like instant airtime and cash daily. Pepsi is the official partner of the UEFA Champions League. Pepsi, for the love of it.
There's always a reason to celebrate. So why not do it in style? Throw the most memorable parties and entertain your guests with the best party packages from the Sheraton Kampala Hotel. Whether it's a graduation, birthdays, weddings, baby showers, or bridal showers, you are sure to be impressed by our delicious cuisine, our wonderful ambience, and professional service at our different outlets. For more information, contact us on food and beverage at sheratonkampala.com or call 0312-322-486 or 0312-322-499.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
welcome back from the break. Thank you for staying with us here on Spectrum Radio 1 FM 90. I'm your host, Iruma Gabriel, in studio with the Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine. He's Chad Dondo East Member of Parliament and is viewed as the de facto leader of the People Power Political Pressure Group. We are speaking about the agenda of People Power Political Pressure Group ahead of the 2021 general elections. You can go to our social media pages, leave a question or comment there for him. I will be coming to your questions and comments very soon. Honorable Chagulanyi, before we went for the break, we left off with Honorable Sebalu, who was saying these concerts of yours that you've been organizing, the worry has been that they could turn into political rallies. Honorable Chagulanyi leaving the stage, Bobi Wine leaving the stage, and Honorable Chagulanyi coming. You know, basically, some people are there to enjoy your music and may not necessarily agree with your political views, and your concerts were feared to be, potentially change into political rallies.
You see, now that is how lawless this regime is. That's how much they disregard the rule of law. The issue should be, is this person going to come and break any law? And the duty of the police is to apprehend anybody, including myself, if I break the law. Now, it does not matter whether you disagree with me politically. It does not matter whether you disagree with me religiously. You cannot take away my right simply because you disagree with me politically, religiously, or whichever way you disagree with me. Okay? We have born-again singing, using music. We have Muslims and other people. We have NRM, People Power, and FDC people singing. Okay? Music has been used as a political tool. Museveni and his cronies paid so much money to the artists to sing Tubonganawe for them and other, music pieces. Okay? To them, that was not mixing music and politics. I have, for the last more than 15 years, used music to advance my views. The songs that I'm singing, I did not start singing them yesterday. I've been singing them all along, and I was being paid for them. Okay? So, it gives you no right whatsoever to deprive me of my economic rights, of my freedom of expression, simply because you disagree with me. Okay? If they think I'm doing anything illegal, I have challenged them now and again to apprehend me and prosecute me. But because they don't agree with me, like you heard, he did not quote any law. He only said, we don't agree with your politics, so we won't let you sing.
Okay.
And in any case, people actually pay to come and see me sing. Those people pay because they agree with me ideologically.
All right, let's change gears a little bit. 2021 is fast approaching.
Yeah.
What are the People Power plans for 2021?
People Power plans for 2021 are clear. We are calling upon Ugandans, having called upon Ugandans to realize where we are, what predicament they face, and what they can do to change the course of events. Those that have understood us, we are calling upon them to get national IDs. You're the one, Gabriel, who said it, that one of our biggest problems is that people, especially young people, have not been voting because they've been very disconnected to the way they are governed. So we are calling upon all Ugandans, using any communication tool that we can, to have them register as voters to get their national IDs, so that by 2021, this support that we have is not just verbal support, but we want to make it real democratic support.
What makes you believe that you'll actually be able to rally people, not only to register to vote, but to actually come out and vote? Because other opposition leaders have done the same, but at the end of the day, people are not turning up in the numbers.
No, you are wrong, my brother. This that we are trying to do has been done before. Not by any other people, by ourselves. Having realized what our problem is, we came out, called upon people in Chadon East to come out and vote. They came out and voted. Indeed, unfortunately, many did not have votability. They were not registered voters. And that is the challenge that we're trying to address. We know that young people are the majority in this country. We know that young people have been the most affected by the misgovernance that we are facing. And we know that young people listen to us. And not only young people, of course, the mature people already know where we are, but they've been few over time. So our ability to communicate to these masses has showed us results.
All right. So you call them out to vote, and they vote.
Yeah.
Then what? What is the agenda? What are you going to give this country?
No, the agenda is first and foremost, we want to change this leadership. We want to change leadership of this country from all levels, from this oppressive leadership to servant leadership.
All right.
That is the first and foremost thing to do, to have people in offices that are answerable and accountable to the population.
All right. What you quote, you know, the power of the people being, you know, more powerful than those in power, is a phrase that was used in, you know, in Egypt and elsewhere. And we know how these countries ended, because these groups that were calling them, you know, to rise up, didn't really have a plan of, after power has been taken, then what? Some have criticized you and the people that follow you for not having the ability to, you know, articulate a particular agenda, to run a country, to understand economics and what have you. What do you say to these?
Well, I would tell them that so many beautiful words have been said, but they've been lies. So many policy ideas have been put together. Only God knows how many policy documents we have stored, dusted every day and restored. Okay? We have good ideas for this country. Not only myself, but a lot of Uganda-loving people. But they've not had the ability to do it. Why? Because the government that we have in place is only concentrating on retaining itself in power. And that is very expensive. That has cost our government all the money that would have gone in the health sector, all the money that would have gone in the education. Corruption is on the rise, and the president cannot combat it. Why? Because in many cases it's used as reward. You see the lawlessness that's on the street. The people, the generals that we would have respected, are coming out and blatantly abusing the rights of citizens, noble citizens, women of this country, police officers of this country, and the law cannot do anything because they are all corrupt. That is what we want to put to an end overnight. Okay, when we change the governance of this country, the impunity will have ended overnight.
All right. Going by that argument, and I'll take this together with a question from Guma Abdallah Ali Yusuf. He is from Mukono. He says, I'm requesting Honorable Chagulanyi to explain to us why his people power supporters are directing the fight for freedom against Mr. Kizza Besigye. That's what his question is, and I raise this because of what happened over the weekend, where certain people attacked Dr. Kizza Besigye, people believed to be supporters of people power.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's unfortunate to see that we have these squabbles even within the forces of change. Many conspiracy theories are coming up. First of all, I want to assert it that Dr. Besigye is one of the leaders that I hold in very high regard. He's a very close friend to me. He has been, you know, a role model to me. He's one of the people that gave me confidence to rise against this regime. Of course, I have my personal view on life, and indeed, like all other human beings, we differ in other ways, but I have so much respect for him. And indeed, I have so much respect for other leaders, especially the leaders that have been revolutionary, the leaders that have stood against the injustice in this country. Now, I know that when we came the way we came, we wanted change. And just like you mentioned it, our rise upstaged not only the regime, but also traditional opposition. I have said it before, and I continue to say it, that my agenda is not to fight against any forces of change. You know, we've been taught before that we can either fight together and win as brothers or perish together as fools. So I don't believe in any idea of people who are being oppressed, again, fighting amongst themselves. It's like prisoners fighting in a prison. I've personally seen, as I grew up, so many of these events. I've seen politics being played in that indisciplined and violent way over time, even before I came in. And indeed, when I came in, It happened to me. I was beaten and arrested in Arua, and then before I knew, guns were being paraded, and they say, okay, now these guns have been found in Bobby Wine's room. I had always known that that's the kind of politics that's played in Uganda here, but this time I was the victim. And indeed, in the same way, it was very disturbing to see that certain people apparently attacked Dr. Kizza Besigye. And like you've said, some people are blaming it either on me or those people that believe in the people power ideal. I completely distance myself from any kind of violence. I don't believe in violence. And I also believe in unity. We have been having a conversation with various forces of change. And indeed, I continue to reach out to leaders like Dr. Kizza Besigye, my brothers and sisters in the FDC, and all other change-seeking Ugandans. I've said it before, and I continue to say it, that unless we unite, our struggle for freedom is far from over. So we are our own problem. The biggest problem to the liberation of this country has turned out to be the opposition. And it must not be like that. So we must sort that out. We must come together. We must know that we are all slaves.
Are you able to control the people around you? Because what we saw over the weekend seems to be an indication that you're not in control of the forces around you.
First and foremost, I want to make it clear that whatever happened on the weekend was not by anybody around me. It disturbs me to see how people are struggling so much to associate me with that unfortunate and indisciplined event. That's not me, bro. That's not my kind of politics, okay? And the people who know me know. The people who understand me know. No matter how much people try to identify me with that, that is not me, and the truth will come out, okay? I don't believe in that kind of violence. I don't believe in that kind of politics, and I despise it. I continue to call upon the people because our power is in the people.
Augustus on Facebook asks, can you explain whether people power has leadership in all corners of the country?
People power is an idea. People power is a call. It is a spirit that is in every Ugandan that just needs to be awakened. We have, of course, leadership, which is both overt and covert. We have leaders that we relate with, leaders that are happy and ready to be out there in the world to be known. But again, we also reach out to various Ugandans. And like you've seen in every household, we are there. It is a call to any Ugandan to exercise their responsibility. It is not about me. I continue to tell people it's not about me. Once you understand the people power concept, you have become a teacher. You have become a minister for people power. Take it on, because it's all of us. We must not reduce people power to me.
There's a related question here. Edward from Kabale asks, Honorable Chagulanyi, what is the meaning of the word tweberemu? Is it for Baganda only? Or we, the other tribes, are also in it? What do you say about the current Uganda? No, let's take that bit.
Thank you, my brother from Kabale. Again, it is very unfortunate that many times the detracting forces, both from the regime and unfortunately even from within the forces of change, have struggled so much, want to identify us as violent. You must have seen that even when I was returning, they tried to hire young people, dress them into red t-shirts with the word people power, to have them throw stones. They want to brand us as violent so that they discredit us and return violence to us. In the same way, after failing with that, they try to brand us tribalistic. I want the world to remember that me, who is leading this idea, I am married to a Munyankole woman who I love so much. My closest friend is a Nubian guy, okay? in all my team, you'll find very few Uganda, not because I don't love where I come from, but because I love the national mind that I have. I love the national mind of the friends that we have. Circumstances brought us together. The hopes and aspirations we have through life brought us together regardless of our tribes. Now, the word twebereremu means get involved. Let's get involved. Personally, I've been telling young people that their hope should not be in the politicians. Like I was saying, I always love to read from these guys. Dr. Ben Carson one time told us that we've been conditioned to believe that politicians are the solution to our problems. But one day we shall wake up to know that actually politicians are the cause of our problems. So, let us be involved ourselves. You the Muchiga, you the Munyankole, you the Acholi, you the Muganda, you the Kumam. Be in it yourself.
All right. George Kodmali asks, what strategies you have to guard against moles infiltrating people power?
First and foremost, in my vocabulary, there's nothing like mole. Because there's nobody I segregate against. Okay? You can work with me when you are FDC. You can work with me when you are DP. You can work with me when you are NRM. You can work with me when you are JEMA. And I will not call you a mole. Because the struggle is not for me. Of course, there are many people that will come to me because of their own intentions. You've seen so many people come to me. I'm a celebrity, yo. I am Bobby Wine. I cannot refuse taking picture with anybody. Many people come to me to take pictures to justify their own ends. Because I treat people with love, I will not stop that. It is what that person does with that evidence that they get that turns out to be either detrimental or constructive to us. Now, me, I don't believe there's anybody who is a mole. Even those you call moles, they understand because they are also suffering. And indeed, those that we trust so much, some of them actually are business people. So for me, I judge people by their fruits. I don't believe there's anybody who's a mole. And like Gentleman who always says, time, it is time that always reveals what the true moles are. So let's give chance to everybody and wait for time to demystify them.
All right. How are you working with the opposition? People are hoping to see one opposition candidate.
First and foremost, I am not only opposition. I am for change. I represent FDC, I represent DP, I represent JEMA, PDP, NCD, I represent NRM, I represent every Ugandan that wants peaceful change. That is what I represent. And that is why we are on an effort to bring together all Ugandans that want to achieve change through peaceful means. You asked me before we came on air whether I honestly believe that calling upon people to go to the polls and register will actually deliver change. I am convinced 100% that it is possible because it is numbers. Okay? We have never, yes, I believe Dr. Kizza Besigye has won at least twice. But we've never been organized enough. For example, we've never come together. We know what can make us win. One, if we come together. Just imagine a situation where Kyagulanyi and Dr. Besigye and Muntu and Mao and all these others are together. Just imagine that. You think I don't know that? You think Dr. Kebi doesn't know that? So we all know that if we come together, Museveni will be history. I'm just disturbed why people don't see that. Secondly, we have never won real decisively because, like you said, our people have always not been ready. We never call them to register. We only complain after. Now it is 2 years to elections, and that's why we are calling upon all people in all languages to register and vote. Finally, and very importantly, we've never mobilized our people to know that they can actually resist this nonsense of this regime. Okay? And that is what we can do. But we can only achieve it when we are together.
Honorable Kyagulanyi, very quickly, you've been at it from the time you got elected. Do you actually see a united front against the NRM come 2021?
It is very possible. I have not given up
Okay.
on it. I have not. And I know that NRM's nightmare is to see us united. And that is why I agree with many people who are suggesting that all these squabbles are not free of regime's workings. Because I know they fear us coming together. But I continue to reach out to all these leaders, and I believe that one day they'll see as I see that once we unite, it will be the end of Museveni. And I pray to God that they will choose that.
All right. Edward's question had a second part. If you were in charge, how would you deal with the Uganda-Rwanda standoff?
First and foremost, we need to respect and love each other. Not as leaders, the communities that unite these countries are supposed to be about the people, not president's clubs. Of course, there's the international law that governs us. We have the East African community. We have the treaties that we signed that we're supposed to be, relating to. But again, the governance in all these different countries has to be looked at. Unfortunately, here it is my own country, Uganda, that's pitted against Rwanda. Even if even if all the problems, in my opinion, emanate from misgovernance, I am bound not to mention now because I have my country pitted against another. But I believe if Uganda was governed better, man, you would not say this.
All right. Honorable Chagulanyi, as a final word on the show, people have listened to you. What should they hold you to account on come 2021?
The question should be what they should hold themselves account on come 2021.
Just walk into the studio here. People on the street, knowing you are in the building, were coming out and shouting. It seems like you are a uniting force here. And that's why I ask, what should people look at? Because are you going to be a whisper that's going to disappear?
Well, people should look at uniting. We are trying as much as possible as leaders, but I'm telling them that it does not stop with us. Whatever we fail to do as leaders, they can do as citizens of this country. We're trying to come together to solve the problem, but they also know that ultimately we shall go to them. So whether we come to them as a team or we come to them individually, they know that we always pick the best and leave what does not work with them.
Right.
I continue to beseech them to always, the population meets us. They meet BOBI on the funerals. They meet these other leaders on the parties. Let them talk nicely to these other leaders and reassert their views. To the leaders, to the activists, and to the political players, guys, we must not fall victim. We must not fall prey to the plans of this regime. You must not fight each other. You must not be like these grasshoppers that fight in a bottle, and yet they're all going to be eaten. It is shameful to see that people who are expecting us to stand together and fight together, we are actually fighting against ourselves. What does that mean to them? So we must stand together. We must focus on what's important. We are not each other's enemy.
All right.
Museveni is the one who is our enemy.
We have to end the interview here. Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, BOBI Wine, thank you very much for being on Spectrum tonight.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
Earlier on the show, we had Honorable Mike Sevalu, who's a member of the NRM Disciplinary Committee. Thank you very much for being on the show. Listeners, thank you very much for being a part of the show. Join me tomorrow when we host another guest. From me and our guests, it's a good night. God bless you. The News on Radio 1 is up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Whoa, you, my friend.